Hey everybody, Charlie Iron 2 here, and welcome back to Pentiment. We last left off, we wrote some letters, and we found out that we need help translating this book from Latin. But now our tasking is to go to sleep, so we'll do that. Hopefully nothing happens. Go to sleep. And then we'll go talk to Baltus in the morning to try to translate the book that we found. Stoltz is the best at Latin, but I don't trust him. Not as far as I can throw him. Uh-oh, time is really going. We got like a month till Christmas. We want to get this done before then. The Reichspostman, Mr. Strucker, and a few more letters for you. Let us read them. Take care. Thank you, sir. Safe travels. First letter is from Reverend Matthew. See, he has that font, that old Gothic, Old English. Mr. Struckern, I was not acquainted with your family during my years at Kearsall. Even so, I remember your father was one of the townsfolk who prevented the peasantry from burning us alive. I'm not overly inclined to assist the people of Tassing in their endeavors to catalog the origins of the abbey they destroyed. However, it was a long time ago. In the interest of posterity and Christian charity, I will tell you what I recall. Some time after the Romans left, Christians settled in the region and built Kearsall Abbey on the ruins of a fortress. The abbey was founded by a nobleman of the Kearsall family. She was both She was both its patron and its first abbess. Perhaps 2 centuries ago, Kearsall changed to being run by an abbot. Do not know the reason, but many other double monasteries did likewise around the same time. It may have been done out of fear of being shut down, as double monasteries were frowned upon by the Pope. Sadly, that is the extent of my knowledge. Your neighbors put any other records about the abbey to the torch. Thus burned the history of Kearsall. While I cannot change the past, I have heard the sisters of the Poor Clares have formed a new chapter at the abbey. I can only hope that their love of apostolic poverty has not driven them to impoverish the shrine of St. Moritz. Assuming they have not consigned the contents of Kearsall's former occupants to a bonfire, you may find something there. Hope this has been of some help to you and yours, Shrine of St. Moritz. May God keep and protect you. The most reverend blah 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 blah. Way too much for your title, dude. Esther. Oh, Magdalene. I'm terribly sorry to hear about your father. My parents send their deepest condolences. If we could provide you anything from Prague, you only need send a word. I know we are further away than is easy to travel, but I will see that we can do what Hashem allows. Literally, the name in Hebrew. It's a way to refer to God indirectly or informal. The name allows. Father says that he remembers no one who would want to harm your father. Yet the night I was born, he remembers great strife in town. Perhaps there is old blood over depicting the night of the revolt? Yeah, probably. That's all he could suggest. We pray for you and your father every day in our offerings. Hashem will make things right in time. He will exact justice on the culprit. I'm encouraged to hear that the town council let you continue the mural at all. The guilds here would protect your right to complete a job, especially once a contract has been reached. You give the men of council too much grace. Why should you be forced to settle for their old ways of thinking? We live in a new age, an age where art and science have come together, an age where when all may read the works of the great sages in their own language. Truly, stumbling on my words here. Truly, when your father recovers, I urge you to come visit me in Prague. But I'm glad you found some joy in your work on the mural. We are all well here. Elisha has been carving a new set of wood cuttings, and Father has agreed to a new contract with the university. I found Simund. His family didn't move far away after all. He's planning on working as a doctor in the city once the expulsion order ends. His parents have been meeting with mother and father quite often now, so I hope that I will be sending good news in my next letter. With Hashim's help. Please inform us of your father's condition in your next letter. Be well, Esther. That's all the letters I have for now. I should head home and check on Dad. This chair that I'm sitting in the hotel is a very loud chair. I'm trying not to move and make sounds in it. It's one of those faux leather ones that has all the fart sounds when you move around in it, like this. I don't know if you can hear that or not. Good morning, Magdalene. I'm here right on time. I hope you're well. Well enough. How's my dad? That's what we're about to discuss. How are you feeling, Klaus? His fever broke at dawn this morning. That's good news, right? All things in time. I still feel weak. The dizziness has not receded. My head continues to spin whenever I try to sit or stand up for too long. Occasionally, I'm struck with sudden and severe headaches. The damage runs deeper than I first thought. Let me be honest here with both of you. I'm worried the circumstances are not unfolding to our benefit. Klaus, your health is not mending. Perhaps it is due to your age. Perhaps. We have passed numerous critical days with no change for the better. Meanwhile, the winter draws closer, and I am running low on medical supplies. With the roads in the town likely snowed in, especially the pass, supply shipments will not arrive for months. Don't you have a stockpile for harsh times? Some, but possibly not enough for the upcoming winter. It has been a difficult year. Even with the patrols in Bavaria, many merchants have been struck by bandits. French troops have periodically raided the western holdings of our empire. With the fall of... I don't know what that is. Estergom and blah to the Ottoman Turks, many trade routes from the east have been cut. The pillage of Nice by Barbarossa's corsairs and our losses in Italy have also put us into a predicament to the south. As always, we suffer from the wars of others. What are we to do now? The Empire struggles, but can't you gather supplies around here? It really sounds like Stoltz is trying to actively kill our father. What are we to do now? Klaus has to continue with rest and a healthy diet. I will see what more I can find in my library. I wish I already had a copy of Vesalius's De Humani Corporis Fabrica. No, whatever. In the meantime, Klaus, Magdalene, pray to God. I must take my leave. I will come by again next week. I thank you, Dr. Stoltz. We're going to play nice, but I don't trust him. Thank you. I'm only doing what I'm meant to do for this town. Stay out of trouble, Magdalene. What he's meant to do for this town, he said. Sounds like he's trying to influence the mural. He worries too much. I'll be all right. Do you want anything to eat before I leave for the day? I'm working on the next section of the mural today. I'm not so hungry right now. I'll be all right. Your letter from the Archdeacon. Yes, that's right. What did you learn from him? He seemed sad over what happened during the revolt, hesitant to tell me anything. He didn't have much to say. He was still upset about the Abbey's destruction. Well, I'm pretty sure he still hates everyone in Tassing. He did say that the Abbey was founded by a noblewoman after the Romans left. Everything else burned in a fire. How unfortunate. I know the brothers kept careful records of the monastery, so much lost in one night. The Archdeacon did suggest the poor Clares might have held on to some of the records from the convent. I should be able to learn more about Tassing's Christian history there. An excellent place to start, Magdalene. Sister Gertrude doesn't come out of the convent much, but I think it's worth asking her. Maybe Father Tomas knows something too. I should talk to him. If I recall correctly, the miller's wife has a long family history in Tassing. She may know something of the local history that the others have forgotten. Elsa? I thought she moved here when she married. She doesn't have any relatives in town. Not anymore. Age, illness, and marriage took the rest of her family. But the Caviezel's used to live all up and down this valley. Go talk to her, I will. Thanks, Dad. Maybe something remaining in the Abbey's ruins. I should definitely see what's left. Magdalene, you be careful. Those ruins are dangerous. Can't be that dangerous. The ruins have been sitting there for almost 20 years. I won't go far into them, Dad, just to take a look. All right, wear a scarf too. It's getting cold out now. I can feel it in my old bones. Don't worry, Dad. I'll see you tonight, all right? All right, good luck. Of course, when I try to record, the housekeeping starts to vacuum right outside my door. Hopefully it's not too much of a bother. Tassing's Christian history. So this is kind of like the middle. So we're going like early, mid, and then like late history, right? Or recent history. Where is Elsa? Well, I suppose rather than just wandering around, we can just check the map, right? That's Father Tomas. Outer Tassing. Oh, she's still at the mill. So let's hit up Father Tomas, then we'll hit up the mill, then we'll hit up the Abbey. Oh, before we do any of this, before I forget, let's give Baltus the book. Baltus. Because, yes, I will 100% forget that. Let's go, Baltus. Blop, 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 blop. Put a shirt on, dude. All right. Here. You like to feel useful, right? Hello, Baltus. Do you have a moment? Only one, I'm afraid. What can I do for you? I came across a book about the history of Tassing. I was hoping you could help me read it. Oh, no, not today. I'm far too busy for that at the moment. That guy and I have our hands full preparing for Christmas ale. Of course, sorry to bother you. Not at all. Apologies. I couldn't be of more help. Well, crap. Well, if we're doing a Christmas ale, we could ask Werner. I don't like him. Hello, Magdalene. Can I help you? Hello, Dr. Stoltz. I have a book here, and I can't read it very well. I was wondering if you could help me translate it. If you bring it after Christmas, I might be able to help. I have too much to do right now. I can't spare that much time. Oh, I understand. Sorry. Till later? Till then. What was it? Gertrude and Tomas, right? We'll try Gertrude. I don't like Father Tomas. All right. Our Lady of the... Is he in the church? Yeah, sometimes he hangs out right outside. God bless you, Magdalene. And God bless you, Father Tomas. Do you have a moment? Of course, what can I help you with? I wanted to ask you about Tassing saints. I'd like to represent them in the Rat House. I'm thrilled to hear it. The saints will make a wonderful centerpiece for the murals. You misunderstand, Father. I may incorporate them. Not as a centerpiece, simply as part of history. Of course. I consider our saints to be central to Tassing's history, yourselves too. But you know there is one saint you're overlooking. Saint Nick. Got it. Contemplate this. Why, the Blessed Virgin, of course, Mary. Many people forget that Mary is the greatest saint, and she visited one of the peasants here in Tassing centuries ago. The Virgin Mary appeared in Tassing? Why? Yes, she appeared to give a message. Centuries ago, a farmer in the fields behind us had 3 visions of Mary. The first, she told them she wanted him to tell the bishop of Freising that she appeared. The peasant traveled down to Freising, but the bishop would not see or hear him. Seems like a reasonable response, all things considered. Perhaps, but blessed are those who believe, but have not seen. But sadly, the bishop did not believe. The peasant returned to Tassing and had another vision in the field. The Virgin showed him a pattern, a labyrinth. She told him to draw it on a sheet of birch bark and bring the drawing to the bishop of Freising. Why didn't she just give him the labyrinth the first time? Just keep listening. The bishop attempted to turn the peasant away, but he could see the drawn labyrinth in his hands. It was the same image that the bishop had seen in a dream 3 nights earlier. He met with the peasant who told him of the 2 apparitions he had seen here in Tassing. The bishop was moved by the peasant's story and came here to Tassing. Bishop came here? He did. It's the only time the bishop has ever come to Tassing. And when the bishop came, Mary appeared to both of them. She told the farmer that the town needed to build this church. She told the bishop to support the town. I had no idea that that's where all this came from. It's not a story I tell much anymore. I suppose the people here think of Moritz and Satya, their connection to this place. Mary is such a core part of their prayers that they forget about our particular Mary. But in any case, Our Lady's demands were clear, so the bishop helped fund the creation of this church. The people of Tassing have been using it ever since. You're not from Tassing. How did you hear the story? True, I am not. The people told me when I came, and the former priest told them when they were children, and so on. The priests and the flock have shared the responsibility of passing on the story over the centuries. Thank you for the story, Father Tomas. Have I convinced you to include the saints prominently in the mural? Still considering it. Well, if deliberation fails you, perhaps you will find that prayer gives you greater clarity. God bless you in your work, Magdalene. God bless you, Father Tomas. Let's look at this painting again. I mean, it's a okay painting. She looks like she's partaking. Mary, Mother of Jesus. Her painting has been here as long as I can remember. All right, cool. So that's all Thomas is going to tell us. Or Tomas, as it was like to be pronounced back here. All right. Elsa? Where's Elsa? Elsa is here. Elsa. Magdalene, dear, what brings you up the hill? I wanted to ask you some questions about your family for the mural. Dad was telling me that your family's been in Tassing for hundreds of years. Oh, is this for the mural? It would be a pleasure to see the Muellers featured in the Rat House. They've been a pillar of Tassing for generations, though I'm afraid I only know a little bit about them. And much of that I've heard from others. Linhart didn't care to talk much about the past. I mean, your family, the one you were born to. Your family was Caviezel, wasn't it? Oh. Not a soul in town has asked me about my family in years. I was beginning to think my neighbors had forgotten about us. I'm not surprised your father remembers the Caviezels. He was sweet on my sister before he met your mother. I'm the last of us left now. Caviezel doesn't sound like a local name. You say it's Caviezel, not Caviezelen. Ooh, let's go local name. Why wouldn't it be? I'm Bavarian. It's my name. So it is a Bavarian name. No one else in town has a name like that. And shouldn't you be Caviezelen? I've always been called Caviezel, as were my sisters and mother, and her mother before her. My grandfather told me the Caviezels have lived in this area for hundreds of years. Perhaps even 1,000, though it seems impossible to imagine a time so long ago. Were they pagans? Yes, the original Bavarian people here even before the Romans. My grandfather said his grandfather told him the Caviezels settled the town after the Romans left. Built their new home right on the spot where they had been living when the Romans arrived. That's just a story. How do you know any of it's true? Heard it from my family? Do you think they would lie? I think they could misremember or forget or, yes, lie. Why does the story need to be true? However true it may or may not be doesn't matter, Magda. It matters that I believe it, and that it connects me to my ancestors. When I think of the ancient Caviezels driven from their lands only to find it again and become Christians, they feel nearer to me. Do you understand? No, I don't. Keep your heart open to Christ, and one day you will. Thank you. You've given me much to consider. God bless you. Actually, you haven't. Her story is kind of crap. The Christian story's better than that one. All right, Meadow. Yes, we got to go up to the Abbey. See the Port Claires. Wait a minute. Why are you guys down here? Martha, are you a Port Claire now? She just says, hey. Carl? But it's still so beautiful here, Martha. One more moment. All right, take your time. Oh, hello, Magdalene. Dad, look who it is. Good morning, Mr. Sturkiern. Hello, Martha. Carl, how are you today? On our usual walk around town, November hasn't grown too cold yet. Dr. Stoltz says Dad needs to keep using the leg or the pain will get worse. And I'm getting old. Not so old you can't sit around at home telling stories. You listen to your daughter, Carl. You're about the same age as my dad, aren't you? Hasn't he earned a rest? You listen to your daughter. Oh, sorry, that's that chair. Young girls think you're my keeper, is that it? I've always been your keeper, Dad. No arguments from me there. Sounds like you have Martha to thank for your health. I thought that's what Werner and his ghastly tools were for. And leeches. God, the leeches. Where does he even find them around here? In the forest, probably. They prefer muddy freshwater pools. They're horrible. Cold and wriggling just like the doctor's fingers. Dad. Heh. He's the kind of man I wish Anton would have grown up to be. Anton, my poor boy. It's all right, Dad. Of course he still misses his son. Why would you even ask that? Say I'm sorry. It's not your fault, Magdalene. Just a babe, then. I can't. It's my fault that he died. It's not, Dad. You know it's not. He shouldn't have been with me that night. He shouldn't have. I was a fool. What happened? I know I was there, but all I remember is the flames. What a fire it was. The whole abbey engulfed. I was bleeding. Anton tried to drag me out of the fight. Then that godforsaken Landsknecht stepped between us. Hope he burns in hell. Can't even imagine what that's like. How old were you during the revolt, Martha? 7 or so. I didn't understand what was happening. Someone brought Dad home in the middle of the night. It was dark, confusing. There was screaming outside. Mom and a couple of the men who brought Dad in were trying to patch up the wound, but it wouldn't stop bleeding. She kept shouting, "Where's Anton? Where's Anton?" There was blood on the floor. You cried so much you threw up. We couldn't get you to stop. I couldn't understand where Anton had gone. Dad tried to explain, but... Martha, my dear, enough of that. I'm so sorry. How did you go on? Did I? I don't know. Some nights I think I'm there still. The abbey is always burning. My Helena passed not long after. Was left alone with Martha to care for. Had to keep going for Martha, and somehow my daughter grew into a wonderful woman despite it all. Suppose that was all Helena's doing. Dad, if I'm any good, it's because of you. Thank you for telling me about that night. Time doesn't heal, Magdalene, but it does dull the ache. It's time we continued with the walk, Dad. Yes, dear, I'm feeling much more alive now. Be well, you two. Wow, that's a heart-wrenching story. All right. Let's go talk to the Poor Claires. I should talk to Sister Gertrude since she was a Benedictine nun at Kearsall before the Poor Claires arrived. She'll be able to tell me all about the convent's history for the mural. Are we supposed to look at the shrine too? We were, I believe, but I don't see anything in here other than the hand. So let's click the hand. Nope, same thing as before. Okay, shrine is the shrine. Gertrude. God bless you, Magdalene. Hello, sister. I have a favor to ask of you. Of course, Magdalene. I'll help however I can. I have a book, the Historia Taciae, and I can't read it very well. Can you help me translate it? I'm afraid my Latin isn't good enough to translate something like that. Its grammar structures are far too complex. I'm sorry. It's all right, sister. I have to find another way. There's one more thing, if you don't mind. It's about the Rat House mural. Oh, did you need more paint? I believe I have enough galls stored away. No, thank you, sister. I have more than enough paint. I wanted to ask you about the history of Curacao, actually. I'd like to include the Abbey's founding in the history of Tassing saints to the Rat House mural. I wrote to Reverend Matthews since he lived at the Abbey, but wanted to see the place firsthand. Brother Matthew become a reverend. Did he? He was always suited to such a role. But I don't suppose that's what you came up the hill for. You're curious about the saint's history, yes? Yes, I was hoping you could show me around the convent and tell me its history. The poor clerics don't allow outsiders within the convent, even other women. Mother Francisca wouldn't like anyone coming in for such a worldly concern. Well, that makes my job difficult. Let me finish, Magdalene Druckjern. You have a bug on your face. However, Mother Francisca always welcomed those who were considering joining the order. If a young woman sincerely considered joining the convent, she may be allowed to enter and observe the sisters. Who knows what else she may discover while contemplating the holy life, Always have beer. Drawn to your veil, sister? There's something about the fashion. Oh, always been. Wow, I can't read today. That does look like beer, though, how it's like missing that part. I have always been drawn to your veil, sister. There's something about the fashion. Well, I suppose exploring all of my options can't hurt. Turn the convent will take some time. Would you like to go see Mother Francisca now? Not yet. Very well, come find me if you change your mind. Can we not go into the ruins of the Abbey on our own? No. What if we try going around? It doesn't look like it. Okay. Well, before we do that, let's go talk to Father Tomas because he's really the last one we have for translating Latin, right? Though I don't imagine he'll be too keen on it. We should probably go in the Golden Hand, too. We haven't been in there for a while. We know the lady... Hannah was her name, I believe? We know she's dead. What are we looking at up here? I haven't even looked at this. There's like a mouth with fire. And Devil's helping this lady churn some butter. And this guy's like warming his hands. These guys... Oh, there's the 3 wise men offering up gifts to baby Jesus. But what does this got to do with any of that? Blonde hair, red coif? Nope. Help me translate this book, Father. Well, I found this book, but I can't read the Latin very well. Could you help me translate it? The whole book? Oh dear, I can't afford that much time away from my duties right now. The Christmas sermon is coming up, and I've already fallen behind on Advent preparations. Could the matter wait, perhaps? I'd be happy to look it over after the festivities. I suppose. So... Everyone is too distracted by their own work and doesn't know Latin well enough to read the Historia Taciae. Suppose I won't be able to use it as reference for the mural after all. So I needed to take the perk that allowed me to read Latin in order to use that, right? So that blocks off a choice from us, I assume? Which, if that's the case, that means all we have to do now is tour the convents and try to learn about the history of Tassing from just what we can glean from the convent, right? I believe that's it. But we will have to do that next episode. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy my content, please consider a like, a comment, and or a subscribe. Stay tuned for the next episode. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.